This is
In the land of Zambia is launched on Monday, the 21st of December 2020, compliments of the season. My name is Kelvin Tabula Shifokolu. Now, many other times when the opposition claims to be the alternative government or the government in waiting, but the activities leaves much to be desired. Now, tonight on Plant Talk, we seek to ask a question: is the opposition ready, or is the opposition ready to take over the leadership of the nation and preside over the affairs of the nation and respond as well as answer to the many challenges that Zambians are facing? Because this is the claim that the opposition has been making. Say Zambians are suffering and we are there to offer the alternative government. Is the opposition ready to take over the governance of the country? I have two gentlemen from two opposition political parties. I have from the UPND, Kawayo Muhao, who is a member of the UPND, and also 2021 Munali constituency aspiring candidate. Kawayo, good evening and welcome to Plant Talk.
Good evening. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Are you ready for Plant Talk?
Yes, you're very much ready.
Thank you so much. From the leadership movement, we have Chalwe Chandalala, who is national coordinator in charge of the youths. Chalwe, good evening and good to have you.
Thank you very much, evening, and evening to the viewers.
Are you ready for Planto?
Very much.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. The rules of the game are very simple. You'll be given 3 minutes to respond to a question that I'm going to pose to you. After 3 minutes, I'll give a chance to your colleague or to your friend. In case you want to clarify or shed more light or to rebut to what your colleague has said, you can do that within your 3 minutes. Those are the rules of the game. Those of you that are joining us on the traditional Muvi TV decoder, yours is channel 1, and that is Muvi TV. Those of you that are joining us on Top Star decoder, yours is channel 104. You can still join us on Facebook, that is Ask Muvi. Like the page, invite a friend, and let a friend invite a friend, and remember to leave us with a message, and we'll be able to read your message and respond to your question. If at all you want to ask a question either to Kavayo or to Chalwe, and we'll be able to pose that question on your behalf, and hope and trust that these gentlemen will be able to respond to your question. Let me start with you, Kavayo. You are coming from the opposition, regarded or seen as the biggest opposition in Zambia, the United Party for National Development. First of all, does the UPND have what it takes? And are you ready as UPND to take over the leadership of the nation and answer to the challenges or the difficulties that Zambians are facing? Your 3 minutes starts now.
Yes, first of all, let me say we're not regarded, but we are the biggest opposition party. If you go back in the last elections, the 2015 and 2016, how we fared and how we performed. If you take over, you look at the statistics and the figures, we should be in government, and we're the biggest, largest opposition. And UPND is the most, the part which everyone is looking for, because we're here to offer hope and to offer a future to the Zambians. The Zambians have suffered for too long, and we've been there offering support and also showing the people that whatever's been going on, we've got a solution to it. For example, most of these budgets have been offered. The UPND has offered alternative budgets, but they've not been given an ear by the ruling PF. What's been happening, like in the mines, we've been offering advice on that sector. Right now, our currency is not doing well because our advice is not taken. So we've been more than ready. Otherwise, we're more than ready to take over the reins of power and to ensure that Zambian lives are put back on course. If you look at what's happening right now, so many people in most areas, they're not doing so well. The reason is the country and the ruling power has failed us as a people. But as UPND, we're here and we'll ensure that we provide for the Zambians what's needed. The jobs for the youths and for the women, and also the sectors. Agriculture, which is very important, has been neglected by the ruling PF. As a result, if you look at, give an example of the current milling meal pricing, which is over 150, somewhere there. If it's very far away from Lusaka, it's actually more than that. Example is this time we're crying to say when we're going to have a cheaper milling meal. But if you look at the basics of the milling meal, the producers, how much is the cost of buying a bag of fertilizer? Right now it's about 600 kwacha. How much is a bag of buying the seed? Very expensive. So what do we expect next year? Do we expect to have a bumper harvest? Yes, we may. But is it going to be affordable to everyone? No. So is people going to be able to buy the milling meal? No, it's not possible. So as UPND, we have a way to ensure that the economy is put back on track by ensuring all these things are put in place. And as UPND, we are the government in waiting.
Thank you so much. You still had about 30 seconds or so. Chalwe Chandalala, the same question goes to you. Many are the time that we've seen the opposition coming on such a platform or going around compounds and telling people that the PF has failed in these areas and we are the alternative, we've got answers, we can answer to these challenges. Is the leadership movement under the leader or the leadership of Dr. Silumbe ready to take over the governance of this country? Your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. First and foremost, since Leadership Movement Party was born, we have made it clear to say we are the 21st century leadership Zambia has been looking for. We are a generation which wants to deliver the great gift to future generation. Because, Mr. Moderator, Leadership Movement is full of young people. And as our mission is to reclaim the Zambian vision and deliver the great gift to future generation. See how today it's very disappointing where 80% of young people are languishing in the streets. So with us as Leadership Movement, we have made it clear we want the young people to participate in leadership because they have what it takes. Everyone has something to contribute in this country. It's not only wealthy men and women. No, it's everyone. That's the reason this time we have seen many youths have been neglected. As Leadership Movement, we are saying youths are the hope for Zambia. And it's time for the young people to rise up. Under the able leadership of Dr. Richard Silumbe, we are giving an opportunity to every Zambian youth because we have seen at the moment, youths, when it comes to governance issues, they are much behind. They are not really participating. And in terms of positions, governance positions, we have seen how youths are being neglected. So that's the reason we as a Leadership Movement, we are the hope for the Zambian people. We are the hope for the Zambian young people because we know that the energy of the youth will build Zambia to greatness. We know that with the energy of the youth, we shall see how the Zambia economy will turn around at a short period of time. We'll see that with energy of the youth, we shall see how we shall create 4 million jobs here in Zambia in 2021. With energy of the youth, we shall make sure that every district in this country has a state farm so that the price of meal can be affordable and at a lower price, which everyone can afford. That's in 2021. Because us, it supports your local team. Local is Laka. We believe to empower our own Zambian businesses, our own Zambian marketeers, our own Zambian entrepreneurs, so that they can become inventors, innovators, so that they can become makers of things in this country. Because way back, Mr. Moderator, in Zambia, we used to manufacture uniforms for Zambia Army. But today, we are not doing that as a country. That's the reason, under the able leadership of Dr. Richard Silumbe, he believes, and we believe to say, once we revolve the energy of the young people, of those old industries, textiles, will be revamped in 2021. Because our theory is production, production, production. We want to be productive. Our government will be open for service 24/7 all year round, anytime, anywhere. That's in 2021 under the able leadership of Dr. Richard Silumbe.
Thank you so much. Kabayo, you touched the issue of agriculture. The Patriotic Front, from the time that they came into leadership, we have been experiencing bumper harvest year in, year out. We have seen our maize being on a demand in Malawi, Congo, and the neighboring countries. What sort of mechanism or change is the UPND going to bring in the agricultural sector because we've seen even our fruits are going to waste. Right now, we're in the season of mangoes, no value addition. People, the opposition and the other political parties are saying when we come into power, we can turn these mangoes into juice. But when they go into power, it is a sorry story because nothing seems to be achieved. What sort of mechanisms or changes is the UPND bringing on the table in regards to the agricultural sector?
Yeah, first of all, maybe just a correction on the so-called bumper harvest. If you take back from the time PF came into power, what have they done on agriculture in terms of being able to ensure that farmers get their inputs on time? They've not tried it except this year, and the reason is simple, because we're approaching elections. That's the only time they've tried to do it right. All these years, they've delivered these inputs very late, and some of them have never been delivered. Some of the farmers who know these are the same. If it's a FISIP, most of the farmers have not received the inputs all these years. So if we had the bumper harvest, why are we not allowed to export to Congo? Why are farmers not able to export to Congo? Because we don't have sufficient stocks for us to be able to export. So I would say that is more like we're trying, it's a feel-good situation whereby they're just trying to give you and say, no, we've got a bumper harvest. If we had a bumper harvest, our farmers would have been allowed to export our maize to Congo. Because, you know, in Congo, a bag of minimum is fetching over 300 kwacha. So it was going to be a money spinner for our farmers, but they're not allowed. Only a few in PF are able to do that. Why? Because they believe in selfish and all these kind of deals. So in terms of agriculture, UPND is one of the sectors which are very, very important for us, and we ensure that each and every farmer is supported. First of all, is, like I said earlier on, the basics is the inputs. When do we receive them? And how affordable are they? Because for the bag of meal to be cheaper, it simply means the fertilizer, the seed, the labor, and everything else which is going to go into production has to be cheaper. Right now, like I said, the bag of fertilizer is 600 kwacha. The bag of seed is over almost 300 kwacha and above. So if all those put them into consideration, how much is the bag of meal going to cost next year towards the elections? It won't cost not less than 200 kwacha. We're looking at about maybe 200, 250 kwacha, because no farmer is going to expect to sell their bag of maize lower than the production cost. So simply they're not going to make money unless they're going to subsidize this minimum by the government. So as UPND, you're going to ensure that the agriculture extension officers under Ministry of Agriculture are given support. All these areas, because most of our farmers are lacking support from the agriculture extension officers. So as UPND, our vision is to ensure that the agriculture extension officers are given support, and also they give that support to the farmers to ensure each and every farmer, whatever they want to do, we look at the areas where, if it's a zone, say in Eastern Province, where we've got a lot of groundnuts, which we can do, and a lot of tobacco, we ensure all those farmers are given support for those type of products. And when they're able to grow that thing, then we'll be able to find market for them, and they'll be able to make the money from it. So currently, as PF, it's just about touching the top, just trying to touch people on their faces, not to really see what's really behind. Because if agriculture is really a big component of our economy, we're not going to be having these deficits in our economy where we're failing to meet our foreign exchange reserves. It's quite a pity we're here because of bad leadership from the PF. So unfortunately, as UPND, we will ensure this thing is reversed. That's why as UPND, we're the hope and future of Zambia.
Thank you so much. Chalwe Chandalala, you keep on boasting that as leadership movement, you believe in revamping industries. In the agriculture sector, what is it that leadership movement is bringing on the table? Are you going to continue with FISIP? Are you going to continue with e-voucher, where Kabayo says farmers have been receiving their farming inputs very late? What change is leadership movement bringing on the table? Your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. As leadership movement, we have made it clear when it comes to agriculture. Because in 2021, we want farmers to look on agriculture as business, as it is today. Because
it is businesses today.
No, today farmers have not taken farming seriously as business. Now, under the able leadership of Dr. Richard Silombe, we want farmers in villages to know that agriculture is business. We want them to be responsible because we understand in leadership movement to say agriculture is the only sustainable way we can drive our economy, which can also help industries to revamp our economy. That's why we are saying in 2021, as leadership movement, we want to see Zambian youths to be innovative inventors, so that you said of mango juice, we want entrepreneurs who are able to think outside the box. We being sponsored by the leadership movement government to come up with a factory instead of wasting those mangoes we are seeing, which will be wasted from now until somewhere April or there, maybe February, not to be the way as we have been wasting mangoes all these years. Enough is enough. We need to think outside the box. And as leadership movement, we understand and we are in much in research. We know to say, if we go in villages, we tell our grandmothers to say, let's not waste agriculture. As FISIP will be the issue of the past. We don't want farmers to be kept captive because of FISIP. We want farmers to be doing irrigation farming every year, throughout the year, not depending on FISIP. That's why we are saying in 2021, all farmers will own land with title deeds. All farmers in our country will own land with title deeds, so that at their own time, they're able to go into a bank, ask for a loan, they start their farming, and they cultivate and they sell out. That's the reason I even said to say in 2021, us under the able leadership of Dr. Richard Silombe, we shall have state farms in all the 121 districts here in our country. There will be state farms under the Zambia National Service, where our young men and women will get recruited, because us will double, then triple, then quadruple, then pentacuple men and women in uniform in 2021, so that they can be productive. We want a productive nation. Way back, Mr. Moderator, in the 1970s, 1970s there, Zambian economy used to perform very well. But where have we gone wrong? It's very disappointing. We are coming from top, we are getting downwards. We have to be ashamed of ourselves. That's why Zambia needs a leadership that thinks outside the box. Zambia needs a leadership that thinks for the coming generation, because we have the potential and the capacity to feed our neighboring countries.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chandalala. Moving forward, gentlemen, Kabayo, why do you think people of Zambia should believe in the leadership of Hakainde Hichilema and the UPND and not believe in other opposition political parties, or divorce the Patriotic Front, which is in power right now? Why do you think people should believe and trust the UPND with leadership?
Yeah, thanks for that. I think by now Zambians believe in our president, President Hakainde Hichilema, and our party UPND. Reason is simple, and right now I know most people are even saying, he is our Moses of Zambia, and he is our prophet. The reason is, most of these things which are happening right now, he brought them forward, and he did tell the Zambian people, like, what you're going ahead with this is what's going to happen. Example is how much our currency has reached at. These things he did prophesy about them. He said it. Like, with what PF is going ahead, this is going to be. Example is our current debt as a nation. We've reached at levels where we can't even, we've started defaulting on the debts, and we can't even borrow anything else. The reason is PF has been over-borrowing, and he's been saying this for so many years up to now. So at the moment, Zambian people know that our president is the Messiah of Zambia. The reason is he's a practical businessman who has always said how things are going to be. We know PF are just, they don't have anything in them. That's why there's no substance in them. That's why you find anything they do is about insults and violence. Because at the end of the day, if someone has got nothing to say, they always resort to violence. I think that's something which should noted on the PF. That's why for them, wherever they go, you find there's violence for the same reason. So as UPND, we've always talked about these issues, talked about, told PF to, to take back in terms of these loans. Currently, as we speak, even the same defaults that we have, I don't believe that's the only debt which we have. I believe there's some more debts which they've hidden because that's what they believe in. And where there's accountability, there's nothing. But with our party, we're a straightforward party, and we believe in ensuring that each and every coin for Zambia will be accounted for. And we can promise the PF guys that after we take them out of power, we'll ensure each and every coin that they've stolen, they've misused and mismanaged will be brought back for the Zambian people.
Are you saying at the moment every coin is not accounted for?
No. Example, just recently we had the COVID funds. What has come out in the audit report? I think everyone knows that all those funds were misapplied. Contracts were bloated, the figures were not correct. That's misapplication, and we need to investigate all those things. So it's not even here. It's in black and white on the open that they failed to manage Zambian economy. They failed to manage the funds of Zambia. So we ensure as UPND we account for each and every coin for Zambia.
Thank you so much. Chalwe Chandalala, why should Zambia believe in the leadership of the leadership movement, and why should people believe in Dr. Richard Sulumbe and not other guys who have been on the scene for years, like the UPND? Mr. Kawayo is boasting that Zambians know that Hakainde Hichilema is the Messiah. Where does it put Richard Sulumbe if Hakainde is the Messiah?
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. On that, first and foremost, what I can say is that, the Zambian people are ready for change. They are not looking they are not looking on the past. What we are saying is the Zambian people need hope. The Zambian people want to hear what the leadership movement or Dr. Richard Sulumbe will do in 2021. That's where we are different from these other opposition political parties, because as our candidate, Dr. Richard Sulumbe, is always with the Zambian people, is always with the Zambian youths. See, today we are talking of 80% of the Zambian youths are languishing in the streets. We have a plan. That's what the Zambian youths want. We are saying the economy has been messed. You see, the country is not productive. We are saying in 2021, it will be a new Zambia. People, Zambians, should not be stuck with the old Zambia. Dr. Richard Sulumbe is a very youthful and intelligent, useful young man we can use to drive this country from where it was. Because we believe the energy of we, the young people, Mr. Moderator, I'm telling you, we are able to operate 24/7. When we go back in the 1964s, when Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, his cabinet was youthful. He was also a youth. He was by then 40, you see? So the energy he had and the energy he got by the time he was 60, he failed to work, because we only have the youthful energy which we can deliver. So we leave a legacy. I myself, Mr. Moderator, I want to leave a legacy behind. What did I do for Mother Zambia when I pass on? When I pass the medal to the next generation, you see? So I have a goal to say, this Zambia we are stuck in today. Yes, we know that our friends at the PF have messed up, but should we keep on stepping on their weaknesses? As it's the time now, we give up to the Zambian people to say, yes, our friends have failed in here. So let's not use that as a downfall, but us will use we'll use other way around so that we can convince the Zambian people. Because Zambian people, we are seeing how they are struggling. How many Zambians are being evicted on their land today? How many Zambian youths don't even know about these empowerments they are launching? How many Zambians today are not benefiting from these resources we have? Many Zambians. And that's the question Zambians asking themselves. Where have we gone wrong? If others can make it, who are we not to? Where have we gone wrong? That's the reason the Zambian people, in 2021, it will be a different year. It will be a year of revolution. Zambian youths will vote for their jobs. Zambian people will vote for their land with title deeds. Zambian people will vote for tax breaks and tax holidays. It supports your local team. We want our Zambian entrepreneurs in 2021 to be funded. We want our own students, technocrats, to come up with companies. They making mango juice in 2021. We don't want them to be the part of the problem, instead them being part of the solution.
Thank you
That's
so
what
much.
we do in 2021.
Thank you so much, Chalwe Chandalala, for your submission. Kabayo, you said as a party, UPND, you've been coming up with alternative budgets, but they haven't been taken seriously. I remember on the floor of the House, the Vice President, when he was asked a question by a UPND Member of Parliament to say, we warned you, she responded by saying, the opposition has never been helpful to us. They have never advised us. All they have been doing is mocking us in the name of advice. Why can't you show leadership now If you are a government in waiting, why can't you show leadership now other than waiting for things to be messed up, and then you want to inherit a messed up economy so that you have an excuse to give to say, we inherited a messed up economy? Why have you not been offering solutions rather than mocking them like the Vice President did mention on the floor of the House?
All right, I'll take you back just most recently in terms of example I gave is on the debt restructuring. Our President, Hakainde Hichilema, offered to restructure the debt, Zambia's debt, for free. They blatantly refused that offer, and they went ahead to misuse $5 billion US of Zambian taxpayers' money. So, how can you come back and say UPND and our President has not been able to give alternative solutions to the government? It is on record. We've offered so many alternatives to this government, but they've never. I'll give you this most recent because I think it's very fresh in the Zambian minds. We did offer to restructure that debt for free for $5 million, and we're going to have a solution out of it. But they refused. They went ahead with Lazard for $5 million. Yet what has come out of it? Nothing. Zero. As we speak, Zambia has defaulted along the way, and our debtors have refused to cancel the debt or to even schedule the repayments later. They've not done that because had PF accepted, or the government accepted our offer by our president, I'm sure would have had a different scenario. Starting from before we even got here on this problem, where we are. We're going to have a solution before, because we've always offered alternative solutions to whatever the government is passing through. The government has been lying they've been riding on an issue to say they're improving infrastructure, the roads. Apart from the roads, there's nothing else. Look at the health sector, the clinics, there's nothing much. If you go to Mtendere, you go to Kalikiriki, there's even no hospital there. You go to Chainda, there's no power in the night. Women are forced to buy a candle as they go for labor. They're asked to come as a requirement. As you come for labor, come with a candle. Why? Meanwhile, as Zambians are paying taxpayers' money. It's because PF continues to misuse Zambian funds. If only they could have listened much earlier, wouldn't have been in this situation. How do we have a budget where 99% or 98% of the budget goes into paying debts and salaries, and only 2% is left to cater for the rest of the economy? It's not possible. That's why this is how we are at this situation, because PF never listens. Unfortunately, they've drawn everyone else into this bottomless pit, which will take us a long time to come out of it. But hope and help is on the way, and we believe that with our president on the steering wheel, we're going to come out of it more stronger than before. Maybe just let me take you back to the previous point on when I talked about the fertilizer issues and how we can come out of this economy. Let me make it a point to stress that this issue of the fertilizer becoming more expensive, because I'm very passionate about it, because the reason is maize or mealie meal on Shima is our staple food, and as a result, each and every person in Zambia will need to have something at them before they go to bed. They have to eat the Shima. But they cannot afford it, most of the people. I find in other areas, people are just, just surviving on eating wild fruits. The reason is our government, as a PF government, has failed the Zambian people. The reason is, if you look at the middlemen who are in this purchase of the fertilizer, there are too many middlemen who are putting up this pricing going high. As a result, as UPN, you're going to ensure there are no middlemen, both in procuring of oil, fuel, and also procuring of fertilizer. Because these are two major factors which have made the inflation to go up in the economy. Once we bring these things down, then we'll have a better economy. Look at nitrogen chemicals of Zambia. It's being used as a campaign to each and every election time. When, if we can have only a few millions pumped into that nitrogen chemicals of Zambia, then we'll have at the end of the day cheaper fertilizer, and our meal are going to be cheaper at the end of the day.
Thank you so much, Kabaya.
Thanks.
Chalwe Chandalala, you are saying, as a leadership movement, you have the answers, you have the solution, you have the engine. Why can't you advise government now to be doing the right thing, so that even when Dr. Richard Sulumbe will be taking over as a president, you will find things in order? Are you leaving the PF without offering solutions or advice so that they mess up the economy? And in the end, when you take up the leadership, you begin to give us excuses to say we inherited a dead economy, we inherited a country that had no industries, and so as a result, it has to take time for us as a leadership movement to restructure the country and move forward. Why are you not offering solutions and alternatives to the party in power now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Leadership Movement, we are a party which does not believe in cheap politics and politicking, insults, and bad language like that. Ever since Leadership Movement was born, we have been giving alternative to the government. We have been giving them alternative because our main focus is to revive our country. We want to revolve our country. So if we are giving them alternatives and they are not using them, because wherever Dr. Richard Silumbe goes, he always gives an alternative to the government. We are saying what we can do as a country, Zambia, we have the potential, we have the capacity. So what we only need is leadership in place. So guys, if you are people to listen, you even yourself you are seeing errors and you know where to touch and you know what to do, but because of greediness and selfishness, we are seeing how things are moving as if all is normal. Zambian people are getting used to strive to be in poverty because other people believe muntu ngachula sana no buchushi, it becomes as if wabelela. So that's why today Zambian people are failing to realize, but under the leadership of Dr. Richard Silumbe, even now, recently I was in Lokasha constituency. We are seeing infrastructures, yes, but we went to Lokasha constituency. It was very disappointing, 57 years of independence, to find that we still have pupils who do learn under the tree. And it's rain season, you see. So it was very shameful and very disappointing. That's the reason. If PF guys are there to listen to get our checks and balances, we have made it clear. We have said it's Zambia for Zambians, rich or poor. Us, we want Zambians to be owned by Zambians. Let's not entertain foreigners. We don't need the IMF to save our debt. No, we have the resources in our country. That's the reason colonizers are using us as a tool, because they know that we can't think outside the box. We have been kept captive. So if we had people in government or people in office, because our government will fill in people with 4 eyes: innovation, imagination, inspiration. That's what our government will do. We want people in government to be filled with 4 eyes, because Zambia is for Zambians, rich or poor. We are each other's brother's keeper, and as leaders, it's our mandate to make sure that we build a livelihood for the young people and for the people in different societies, because it's us who make decisions. They do entrust us with authority and with power to say when we go to parliament or when we are voted as leadership movement government, we shall change their livelihood. But others, when they get there, they do forget. That's why as leadership movement, we are not politicians. We are reformers. We want to change. We want to make Zambia a great country like never before.
Thank you so much, Aluchandalala. Kabayo, let's talk about the rule of law. The opposition, you've cried foul and you've continued to accuse the Zambia police and the other government wings of being used by the party in power, the PF. I'll give you an example. The Public Order Act, when the PF were in the opposition, they said this is an archaic law. This is a very bad law. When we come into power, we'll make sure that we change. When they came into power, I still remember the late Michael Chifiasata said, wow, this is a very good document that we can move with it. You are in the opposition, and right now you are saying the Public Order Act is a colonial piece of registration, and there are a lot of things that are going wrong in this country. Talk of the police, talk of other government wings that they're being used by the PF. They are in the armpit of the PF. How different are you going to be when it comes to government wings, the police, as well as the Public Order Act?
All right, thank you for that. First of all, the genesis of the Public Order Act came from colonial rule. It was there to ensure that black Africans are not given leeway to meet together, because whites were scared that by Africans meeting together, they will not be able, they were able to meet together and be able to find plans and means to do it. So we inherited that piece of legislation. Unfortunately, the selfishness in man, as PF is, as they've rightly put it, When they were in opposition, it was a pain for them. When they came into power, they looked at it from a different
Just
angle.
like you are seeing it to be a very bad thing as you are in the opposition.
You cannot compare UPND and PF where morals are concerned. We are a moral party. We believe in what we speak, and we stand for on our word. As UPND, we're going to ensure that the Public Order Act is done with, and everyone will be free and fair, whether to speak and to be able to stand on what you stand on. The reason is very simple. An economy which has got free minds is an economy which can grow. Now, if you continue trampling on people's rights, then it simply means we're no longer a free and fair Zambia. You know, most of the time I've got one track in my playlist which I listen to. Actually, it is one of my ringtones, by Keith Mlev, Ubuntungwa. You know, that song really plays to my heart, and when it plays, it goes back into time when we got our independence, and we say we got our independence. But where are we in 2020? Are we really free and fair? Are we really free from colonial rule? We may be free, we don't have the chains, and don't have the whites ruling us, but we're still under colonial rule, because the reason is our current masters being the PF, they've tamed the same tools which they continue to use today. I look forward to the day when the August 2021 is coming forward, when we're going to take over power and ensure that each and every Zambian is free and fair. Today, my brother, you cannot even be able to speak anything against the PF.
But you are speaking.
Any person can stand today. Any PF person can stand today and go in the field and be able to mobilize, get people, 50 people, start moving, and protest on anything, whatever matter they think of. And nothing is going to happen to them. Let any UPND member be able to come together and be able to protest on a very right cause. It will not be allowed. And police are going to use, even if the reason of saying they don't have fear will be dead on that day. Police will mobilize numbers over there. Example I gave recently, the youths were able to march. They couldn't even do the protests because all the police were everywhere. Our youths were only able to do the protest in the bush. Where are we? This is 2020. Yet we can't even allow our citizens to give a free voice. Why? Because the Public Order Act is still working for PF. But as UPND, we promise the Zambian people, once we come into power, that are going to ensure this Public Order Act is done with, and every person in Zambia is going to be free. The reason is we need people to have free minds, to be able to speak, so that we can develop our country. An example I give is, this is something which the President has already said, and I'm going to echo it again. PF currently is using their youths, the PF cadres, who are running the markets, who are running the stations, who are busy everywhere just causing mischief, and nothing is being done to them. But as the UPND, we are going to ensure all the youths, through skills development centers, our youths are going to be empowered with jobs and skills to be able to develop themselves. The reason is, PF currently, what they do is they've got this scheme to ensure Zambian people are languishing in poverty. Then at the end of the day, they give them a small piecemeal, maybe a bag of minimum, a bag of maize, and tell them, we've saved you today, come and vote for PF. At the end of the day, people are languishing in poverty. But as UPND, we're going to ensure, even this goes to our members as well, that when UPND comes into power, the markets will belong to the city council, the bus stations will be run by the city council.
Thank you
that
so much,
revenue
Kawaii.
is going to go.
Thank you so much. Your 3 minutes up. Chalo Chandalala, you are in the opposition, and right now you are crying foul that the Public Order Act is favoring the party in power. The opposition are not given free space to campaign and do their activities. And also, from the opposition, the police have been accused. How different are you going to handle the Public Order Act, and how different are the police going to be under the leadership of Dr. Richard Silumbe and the leadership movement?
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. You know, one thing which makes us different as leadership movement from these other parties is that we believe in dignity and also respecting the Constitution. You know, in 2021, under the able leadership of Dr. Richard Silumbe, we'll make sure that no one is above the law. And even the police, they need to honor, to say they don't save an individual. They need to be loyal to the Constitution. That's what makes us different, because Zambia is for Zambians. We have seen, yes, there are challenges for we, the opposition, to do campaigns. You know, that at times the police, they are playing an important role, because they shouldn't be intimidated. They need to be...
Are you saying they're intimidated now?
No, somehow they are being intimidated.
By who?
No, you know what, Mr. Moderator, how it is, when we saw our friend JJ Banda, what happened at Central Police, just recently, not way back. But Where has that case gone? We have seen how PF cadres, when they are arrested, they can't spend 2 days in cells, you know? And where is all that coming from? The police need to save the constitution. Either is leadership movement is PF is UPND. When they are found wanting, let the culprits be brought to book. You see? Because we have seen in most cases where the police at times, okay, they're favoring people, the cadres in power, compared to the opposite side. Because again, the cadres in power, again, they've taken for granted over the police. You know, they are able to go wherever they want and intimidate the police officers. But cadres need to know and to understand to say the police, they need to be loyal to the constitution. That's the reason us in leadership movement, we don't have cadres. And in 2021,
What do you have?
we shall not tolerate cadres.
What do you have?
As we are only nurturing young people, we are only nurturing young people. And you might ask that we only have security personnel. We don't have cadres in our party. Because we believe the energy of the young people, which we see they do send to kill each other, it's because youth have no jobs. That's the reason, us in 2021, that will be taken care of. No youth would want to go at the street when he or she has something to go to, he or she has something. What she's doing every morning or every 18, she's going for work, is going for work. You shall see our country will be productive than what it is today. That's the reason today we are seeing not where a station, you are not expecting there can be a station. Cadres have grouped there and they are getting 2 kwacha each bus. You see? That's theft. That's the reason under the leadership of Dr. Richard Trump, we shall make sure that stations, it's a must, they have to belong to the council. And youths, they have something to contribute. Industries will be there for them. Zambia Police, Zambia Army, Zambia Wildlife Authority, we are even doing the national recruitment today for those young people, either educated or uneducated.
Thank you so much.
Because we remember way back.
Your 3 minutes is up. Gentlemen, we must be winding up. Kabayo, right now, we are aware as a nation that there was a judgment that was passed by the Constitutional Court, the Court, on the people that stayed in office illegally. And these are cabinet ministers and their deputies. The president told them that according to what he understood from the Constitution is that the Constitution allows full cabinet ministers and their deputies to remain in office. But we have a judgment and 30 days were given. As we speak, only 4 have managed to pay. What do you make of that judgment and the money that these former cabinet ministers and their deputies are required to pay to the state?
All right. This goes back to, as UPND, what we've always said. When the PF ministers were still hanging on to their seats, we advised them to say, this is wrong, the Constitution does not allow. You leave your seats, but they wanted to use the government machinery to campaign, and they held on to power because, first of all, before we even get to the ministers themselves, the President Lungbai advising them to stay in power. He should be impeached for that because he went against the Constitution of Zambia. But unfortunately, because of the numbers in Parliament, that will not fly.
But you didn't even push for a motion of impeachment.
Currently, there's a motion which is in Parliament to impeach the President, and it's being taken left, right, center because we know what's going on anyway. So in short, what I'm trying to say is, first of all, we advise them to say, by the Constitution, you're not allowed to stay in power. But the state then went on ahead. Basically, by the Constitution ruling how they've ruled, they've just vindicated us to say, we've always advised this government to say, this is how things are supposed to be run. Us to be a government of laws, not a government of people. So as it is right now, first of all, the people who, even the amount which has been given for them to repay, these are peanuts. How do you save for 3 months and only be able to pay 54,000 kwacha? Do you put in the fuel which was being used, the time it was taken, the drivers who were driving them, the allowances they were getting, the lunch they were having? Are you sure 54,000, 6,000 is the actual figure? Actually, when UPND comes in, we're going to recalculate and make them pay the difference because they stole from the Zambian people.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Chalwe Chandalala, ministers, former cabinet ministers have been asked to pay back the money. Others are saying even the president should come in because he's the man who allowed them to stay in office. And others are saying the amount that these ministers, former ministers have been asked to pay is too little. What is the position of the leadership movement?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Yes, for sure, on that, the PF government messed it up, and they have to pay for it. Because this motion, I think, has been running, I don't know, since early this year, you know, until recently when the judgment came in, until now, this time they want to seem to be serious. You know, Zambians shouldn't be taken for granted. We all know that when parliament is dissolved, MPs, ministers are no longer ministers. So how they used to campaign in 2021, they were in 2026, sorry, they were using government taxpayers' money to go in a certain constituency, in specific constituency campaigns, allowances, getting allowances, using taxpayers' money for campaigns, etc. And we take it lightly. That's the reason we are saying on moral grounds, those ministers, they know themselves. They shouldn't be pushed to the left, right, center on a moral ground. And if they love the Zambian people, why can't they just come out straight to say, okay, yes, we were along, and apologize to the Zambian people, not trying to take Zambians for granted as if we don't know what they are doing. That's not the mindset in 2021 which we shall have. That's the reason us in 2021, corruption will be the thing of the past, because we believe whosoever is corrupt has defiled the state. So it will be sentenced to 37 years. We don't want that. Even myself, I wouldn't like to get impeached in such and go to jail for 37 years. Not what we are saying. That's the reason we have been giving advice to our friend in power, the PFs, to say, guys, we can do it. All you have to do, can you put your house in order? We are seeing so many lacunas are not hidden, are out at the public. Everyone knows your mistakes. You need to admit to say, yes, we are wrong. But if they still insist to say, when we are seeing how poverty and hunger has eaten every household of our country, and we are proud of that. We are seeing how DMMU is being used as a tool of campaign. We are proud of that. What kind of a country are we? Why can't we convince the voters just with our manifesto and the hope what we shall do for them in 2021 and
so
other
much.
small projects which we can help than praising and taking Zambians for granted? It shouldn't be like that. It's
Thank
Zambia
you so
for
much,
Zambians.
Chalwe Chandala. Kabayo, recently we saw the voter registration coming to an end. At first, the 30 days ended. Then we saw an extension of 4 days. The opposition, up to now, are still crying foul to say the 30 days was not enough. Also, even the 4 days was a mockery, and nothing has been achieved. And others are saying, if the opposition are saying nothing has been done, and the opposition has gone further to say the Electoral Commission of Zambia is doing this to help the PF win 2021. If you've seen that the Electoral Commission of Zambia are being used by the PF to their advantage, why do you still want to participate in 2021 when you know that the Electoral Commission of Zambia are not on your side?
All right. First of all, it's no secret. The conduct of Electoral Commission of Zambia has been very shameful and unacceptable. Well, let's go back to the National Voters Card Registration, the way it was conducted. How many days it was given? Most of the time, there was phase 1 and phase 2. The phase 1 was in the centers which they were perceived to be PF strongholds, and they allowed it to run. The second phase was put in areas which are perceived to be strongholds for the opposition. Immediately, it was supposed to start. The first thing they said was, there's COVID, they can't be able to move, as if COVID was not there when they're doing it in phase 1. The second thing it started was the school centers where things were supposed to take place. They were closed. Only one center was left up in each and every area, which caused a lot of congestion. A lot of people were marginalized, and many people were not able to get NRCs. Even as we speak, people still need to get NRCs. And as UPN do ensure this is an ongoing registration throughout the year. Let's go back for the voter registration. We did say 30 days will never be enough. First of all, they wanted to do away with the 6.6 million voters register which we have, which was not done, which was not collected in only 90 days. But it was done in over almost these 4 previous elections, almost 20 years, and we came up with 6.4 million registered voters. How is it possible that they were going to achieve the 9 million voters which they had put up their target to get within 30 days? It's not even possible. When you did the calculation and the figures, we needed to register about 300,000 people every day, which was not possible. The first day of when we did those, we only get a few thousands. And up to now, they've failed. And we've seen the state machinery working together to ensure, to like blind the Zambian people to ensure that these figures are acceptable. The statistical agency came up with a figure to say they are going to give only 8.4 million is the correct number, not 9 million. Where did they get it from? First of all, the census for 2020 hasn't taken place because we know PF, they've done what they're best good at doing it. They've been supplied the funds. The funds are not there. That's why the census for 2020 hasn't taken place. So where did they get that number for 8.4 million? Simply it was just to deceive the Zambian people so that when ECZ announced it, to say, no, we're going to have only 8.4 million voters, then people will say, oh yes, because statistical agency has said it and has rubber stamped these things. But as UPND, we don't accept with it, and we know the conduct of ECZ has been very, very shameful. Look at even the roadmap which they've given. They're saying they're going to give they've cut down the nomination petitioning from 21 days to 10 days. Why is that? Who is it going to benefit? Because that's not what the Zambians want. It's not even what is written over there. So if you've got the voter registration verification, they've only allocated 5 days. How do you expect 8.4 million voters to verify their details in 4 days? How is it possible in 5 days, sorry? It's not possible. So when you look at the conduct of ECZ, it's like they're taking Zambia on a course which is unacceptable. Otherwise, we're just going to give them a warning that it's not acceptable and not going to continue with it. The reason is simple. Elections, the free and fair elections, it's not on the voting day. It's a process. How is the process now? It's starting now. Has it been fair? If some people have been accorded the opportunity to get NRCs, if some people have been accorded the opportunity to get NRCs, you know the system, how it was. The kits were not working well. In centers where we had more people, only 1 kit was given. You go in centers where there were a few people, you had 5 kits or so. People were queuing up for 2-3 days. We were busy moving people around to ensure our people in our neighborhoods are able to get voters' cards. Because simply put, the system which were being used was not even acceptable. Look at even the quality of the voters' card itself. It's saying to expire in 2030. If you look at the quality itself, if you forget it in your jacket and you run it in your machine and you wash it, that thing is not going to work anymore because it's
Thank you so much, Kawayo. Chalo Chandalala, the just ended mobile issuance of voters card. From the LM perspective, how do you look at this?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. First and foremost, in the first main place, I think we advise the Electoral Commission of Zambia to extend the days for the registration, because the moment the registration began, we saw how Zambians were lining up. They used to go at a line as early as 04, and somebody obtains the NRC around 14, 15. So we made it clear to say, I think let's think, because there is no way we can say 30 days and we're targeting 9 million voters, and we were told to say their target was to register 33 per day. So with them, they are targeted to say by 30 days it will take us to 9 million. And we had seen what happened recently, again that day, to extend 5 more days from the 17th to somewhere the 20th. There, I don't know if it is the 3-4 days. So, as leadership movement, we have been advising the ECZ to say they shouldn't be the enemies of democracy. The ECZ, they have to stand with the Zambian people, because it's the only institution which is mandated to take care of the affairs of politics in our country. So if today the ECZ can try to sideline with the Patriotic Front, and they giving hope to we, the opposition. But as leadership movement, we don't blame the ECZ, and we are saying they can do better. What they have to do, they know their lacunas. Can they work on their lacunas before it's too late? They have time, and they can do it, because Zambia is for Zambians. No one is above the law, and we all have to respect the Constitution, and we all have to be loyal to our country. We shouldn't be loyal to an individual or to a certain institution. We have to be loyal to the Constitution and the communities at large, because we have a big role to play. So if we are mandated to play a big role, which our children and grandchildren will inherit, and we are not doing it accordingly, we have to do things right. We have to do things right. Zambia for Zambians. We want a Zambia which will be a productive Zambia. We want a Zambia everyone would dream of greatness. We want a Zambia which 80% of the Zambian youths have employment. We want a Zambia which will be manufacturing electric cars, because we have Mansa batteries, we have Kafiwe steel, will provide steel to our electric cars. We have Kapili glass, who provides glass. We have Zam leather, who provide leather to those electric cars. But why are we where we are today? That's the reason in 2021, under the able leadership of Dr. Richard Silombe, we shall do the industrialization. We shall make sure that any raw material in our country turns into a finished product.
Thank you so much, Alo Chandara. Kawayo Muhao, we have to go under a minute. Your concluding remarks.
Well, Zambian people, it's squarely straightforward. UPND and President Hakainde Hichilema, they're here for you. They've been here for you all these years. We're asking you to, it's no longer about UPND, it's about between the Zambian people and the PF, because the PF has let down the Zambian people. To Mr. Shindano and Mr. Chulu, I can only ask them to resign because they feel the Zambian people. They're going to taking us on the wrong path. We want them to step down and let people can run and do it better. Because the course they've taken is not going to take our country anywhere.
Chalwe Chandala, under a minute, we have to go. Your concluding remarks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. To the viewers out there, you have to know that 2021, it's jobs to the Zambian people, land to the Zambian people, tax breaks and tax holidays to Zambian businesses. It support your local team. So know that your vote is your job. Your vote is your land with title deeds. Your vote is your tax breaks and tax holidays. We can make Zambia a great country like never before. It's only when we learn to lead that may follow. It's only when we understand to say we have something to contribute. We're here for a purpose, and we need to use the time we have. We need to use the energy we have. Young people out there who have not yet registered or been recruited for jobs in 2021, our national job recruitment program, they can visit our website www.lmzambia.org, or they can call us on 0973 607500.
Thank you so much, Alo Chandara. This has been the fearless debate in the land of Zambia. Blantok, and I've been chatting with Kawayo Muhao, UPND member, also 2021 Monali constituency aspiring candidate. Also on the other side, we had Chalwe Chandalala from the leadership movement, who is also the national youth coordinator in the leadership movement. My name is Kelvin Tabola, Chief Focal. If this is when you've just joined us, wasangana tutea. Until next week, good night.